Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Hello, welcome everybody to the podcast. We're delighted to join you. This is Banana Bears something episode. We have no idea, but it's well you'll get this on the 14th of February. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. No, yes. Is that right? Jesus Christ.
No, it's not Valentine's. It's Pancake Wednesday.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. Let's get it out of the way. And the many messages I got. I had a
It's a bit
cold.
bold of you to start the show by claiming that it's going to be a certain day of celebration.
Do you know, Jesus Christ, you're right. Talk about bringing a shovel and just digging more holes for myself.
The panic you set in around the globe with last week's episode.
The amount of people that were like, Jesus fucking Christ, Tom, I had to go and check the calendar. Actually, Google the calendar because had no pancake mix in, no nothing. But people got damn near irate with me. And then there was a few like slightly passive aggressive in a way, like going, "What do you like? Yeah, what do you like, you fuckers?" Nearly caught me there, Tom. Nearly fucking caught me.
Fuckers plural.
Yeah.
I was.
You were dry, and this is why
I had the legs cut out from under me as much as everyone else did.
this is why I'm apologizing to you and to the many thousands of listeners because the millions of listeners because I dragged you along with me, so you kind of got thrown under the bus because you were going, yeah, Jesus, yeah, fuck it, they know what? I thought they'd have pancakes here too.
Yeah,
So
because I kind of blamed the French. I was like, oh, they obviously don't make that much of a big deal of it.
yeah. So I can only apologize. I got it. Not only did I get it in, I got it in every form. I got it in Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I got a text message. I got it in person. Like, Tom, just to let you know. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So I finished off a bag of squishies today. I won't.
You've been eating squishies for the fucking.
I've eaten squishies, a Terry's chocolate orange, and yeah, I'm not, and a Star Bar. Oh, I have absolutely no guilt.
I was
Um,
saying you should. I was saying to you should have taken the extra week off the sweets for punishment, for telling everyone that it was Pancake Tuesday a week before it was Pancake Tuesday.
I agreed with you for a whole 45 minutes, and then the sadness and the berration that I got in line, I went, I need to
Yes.
just look after me now and just have some time to me and please no press, please respect my privacy. It didn't work at all. People just continued for 3 days afterwards going, you're some bollocks. Which in all fairness, 100% an absolute bollocks. So I
No,
apologize.
it's not the first time I've come across a situation like that. That's definitely happened to me before from somebody else, like getting the day wrong.
Well,
And it was like I was convinced then,
but isn't that,
because you see the pancake stuff in the shop, and then all of a sudden it's a Tuesday, and you're like, oh fuck.
well, you see, isn't that what they call the Mandela effect? Where you just go, well, of course, yeah, that's fair enough. Because people thought it became that because people just assumed that Nelson Mandela died way before he actually died. And they all just went, yeah, I'd say he did he? Sure, okay, fair enough. And like it seemed to be a general thing across the globe where people thought he died yonks before he actually did. And that's where the Mandela effect. And that's, yeah, it wasn't gaslighting, as somebody was kind of suggesting, because that would mean that I believed it wasn't. I genuinely 100% believe that it was I ate to the point that I ate fucking pancakes. I went online and not in a story, in a fucking reel that will be there forever, apologized for duping everybody accidentally, including Anna. So that's my apology. Did you have pancakes today, anyway?
No, I didn't.
Neither did I.
No, I didn't. I couldn't be arsed. Sorry, I have had.
Go on, you've had a
Really,
horrific couple of days now. You're to tell us about it.
I'd a bad week last week. I was sick and I was loads of shit going on and all the rest. My toilet was flushing slowly, shall we say, right? And I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. So I went at the shower and I bought a plunger and I bought unblocking stuff and I went at the shower and I fixed the shower because the shower was also draining very slowly. I fixed the shower, cleared out the drain, like, oh my God, what a job. And I was like, right, I need to go at the toilet next, like the toilet's the same. Like, anyway, toilet exploded. Cut a long story short. Should I say cut a long story shit? The fucking toilet exploded, water everywhere. I missed work today. I missed the gym because because I needed a plumber in, and thankfully, my very good friend who also helped me to get the locksmith a few months back, also came up with a plumber today. So
The
yeah.
thing is, Anna, how like when the plumber lands in and you're going, yeah, geez, I was trying to unblock it and fuck me, it burst. Yeah. So anyway, will you have a cup of tea? Like the first thought in, if you're the plumber, going, Jesus Christ Almighty, what did she do to fucking attack the toilet and thought
See, I went down it with the plumber and I put unblocking stuff down it, and then I was like, I went down it with the plumber, and then or sorry, the plumber, the plunger,
plunger?
and
That won't fix the toilet, Anna. It'll make a great
going
start.
at it with the plumber.
A great start to like a porn movie or something. Oh, Anna would come in and fix my birthday.
Ah, the
I'm sorry, but
worst.
you, Jesus Christ.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Clip that. Clip that, somebody. That's fucking brilliant.
Yep.
So you went at it with the
Anyway,
plunger, and because you're a fucking a number eight with La Rochelle, you went fucking ferocious and had no
I
fucking the normal humans fucking stopping time. You just went, I'm gonna fucking finish this.
I actually know I kind of did it gently enough because I didn't want what actually eventually happened to happen. So I was like, I just went out for a while. I was like, okay, I'll leave it now for a while. I had the unblocking stuff in it and went out. And then when I came back in, like I opened the door of the bathroom and I just like stepped into a big puddle of water. Thankfully, it was clean water from the boiler and not shitty water from the toilet.
So the
And
thing just burst of its own accord when you walked away. Like it didn't bust in front of you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
no, 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 no. It's
okay,
just
that toilet had to go anyway. I'm sorry if a toilet is just cracking from a small bit of fucking activity.
see, I'm at the bottom. There's two apartments above me, so all their shit comes through my system as well.
Well, it'll pass through the pipe, but
So
it's not coming through the actual toilet cistern. Like,
no, but that's what the plumber reckons. That's where
yeah,
the plumber reckons problems are. So yeah, that was my day.
that was your pancake Tuesday.
So no pancakes for me today. I was otherwise occupied
Oh,
with the
good
plumber
God.
and the plunger.
Well, I got a very nice message from face to face while also getting well told about the Pancakes Tuesday. It was I was did a gig on Friday night in Artane in Dublin, and Garrett's long-term listener and his wife Sarah were at the gig. Sarah, who had played in Richmond with you,
No way.
and yes, two extremely tall people. Um, but they were big fans of the podcast. So shout out to Garrett and Sarah, and who sat in front
Well,
row.
let's.
Sat in
Were they?
they were
Jesus,
front
that's
row. So it was great. It was a great gig. Uh,
unreal.
yeah, so it was cool to meet actual people that listen to the podcast. But correct us
You had
when.
Sarah in UL as well. In
Oh, was it
was it?
UL Bose? Me, I thought
Oh,
wait, no,
and Richmond, and
right, right.
Richmond. But don't our paths crossed at Richmond, but don't think we actually got to play together in Richmond, or maybe we did. Richmond used to be the only women's club in the world with three teams, three senior women's teams.
What?
Yeah, I
Wow.
think I have a feeling there's one or two more now, but Richmond doesn't have it anymore. Richmond, yeah, but it used to be at the time like the best women's rugby club in the world, like three women's senior teams. So don't know if me and Sarah actually played on the same team when we were at Richmond, but we did play together in UL. It was either UL, the university, or Bose, just a long time ago now. But yeah.
I
So
remember playing there when I was a girl myself years ago. It was a great institute for rugby. Fantastic. Um, other than that, what everything okay? Good week. Are you
uh,
back on track? like health wise and everything else wise? I know you've had noisy
Yes.
neighbors and whatnot, but
Oh my God, the fucking neighbors. I don't know what's going on. Like just apparently they've been there forever, but this week they just decided to go mad and they had like fucking like from like 1 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the day.
oh, they're
Like
doing
when I was
drugs for
getting up
sure.
for
Yeah.
work, when people were getting up for work, the music was still going on. So yeah, that has been slightly torturous. They've been quiet now. I don't want to jinx it because see the lights are on in their house because it's a narrow street. That it would sound like
Oh,
funnels
they're
out of
across
their
the
window
way.
across the way. So like the music like funnels out the window and it just echoes down the whole street. Like so, it's fucking. I'm
You
not.
should
I'm.
sneak in and you should sneak in and attempt to unblock their toilet. And
I should throw the plunger across
you'd knock
the.
the entire building if you threw the plunger from that distance. It would generate
If
so
I
you
got it in the window,
that'd
they
be
might
great.
they might see it as like a bit of a threat, as in like
If you got one of them in the face with it as well, as it had been down the toilet. Class. See, I have to take everything to another level. Like I can't help this.
I literally, when I was lying in bed, you kind of catastrophize things when you're kind of like half
Yes,
asleep. I was like, I bought eggs. I bought eggs. I'm going to throw the eggs in their window.
I thought I was the only maniac that did that. I was like, yeah, and the next thing, and I tell you what I'll fucking do.
But I'd be too scared then of like the repercussions.
Yeah, I wish I had that
So,
cut off. I wish I had that cut off. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. That's something wrong with
um,
me.
but I feel like loads has happened now, and I feel like I've forgotten it all. I played a match on Sunday.
Who'd you
Yes,
play?
sir.
Who'd you play?
Yes, we played a team from Clermont.
Very good.
Um,
How'd you fare?
good. What was it? 27-0 or something?
Jesus Christ, you're
More, sorry, 37-0. I don't know. It was
emulating Ireland's fucking carry
hang
on.
on, what was the Irish score?
36-0.
I can't remember if ours was 27, 37. Is that very bad?
No, no,
Uh
you're a forward. You don't really think about things like that. Your
no, no.
backs
But
are
it
out there
was
looking at the scoreboard going, class. You're up there just with your head down, shoving and smashing
just
people.
yep. No,
Yep.
it was good. And was finished just in time to get into McNulty's to watch the Irish match. So
Yeah, it
which
was a
was
week. It was a weekend of the. Well, that's great that you nilled them or whatever, but it was a weekend of smashing. I tried to get to, but I couldn't. Um, we had the little fella actually started tots, rugby tots.
oh
So I missed.
hilarious.
Oh, it's just fucking amazing. I do. It was kind of an intro to it, but so I think they're starting it off properly in the summertime or whatever. But sure, the little people running around with a giant rugby ball is just hilarious, like hilarious. And there's schmozzles happening all over the place. Like there's people just misinterpreting that. It's funny. You can look at some kids and go forward. Oh yeah. Oh no. They just want you okay. And they're just the different ones. And I thought my young fella would be more centerish, although he'll be much taller than me. But he's definitely a back row. He just wanted just all he wanted to do is seem to be jujitsu with the ball. Just you take the ball and then I'll dive on you and try and rip it off you. It's like okay, okay, we've learned things here
Unreal.
now. Yeah, we've
The laws in rugby tots are quite subtle.
one gets the ball and fucking 30 of them run around. But
Literally.
I missed Clanwilliam, a big derby, local derby here. Clanwilliam played Kilfeacle and Clanwilliam got their arses handed to them, unfortunately. Or
Oh
fortunately,
no.
depending. They did. It was like 36-3 or something. It was not good. It was not
Was this
good.
in rugby tots?
No, this was in the. I wish it was only in rugby tots. It was in the
Could
seniors.
imagine all the people on the sideline with their pitchforks, like screaming at the toddlers, like, "Get up! Fuck! Ah! God!"
So here, listen, sure, look, people are here for not just to listen to our fucking misery stories, but this is a rugby podcast, everybody. If you've only just ever joined us for the very first time, we genuinely do talk about rugby. It's just Anna hasn't, she normally hasn't. I described you the other day to somebody. I went, you know, those class weekends that happen by accident? The girl, Ali was an interesting comic as well. She's like, yeah, yeah, I love them weekends. That's Anna's whole fucking life is that. And then
Oh
she'll
my
have a
God.
mad weekend of just karma will just come back and do something like maggots in her bin or something like that. She's like, it has to happen, Tom. She was in agreement. She was like, it has to happen. You can't have it all your own way with class
Well, this is
weekends.
it. I was thinking of the maggots in the bin today when I was like, well, this is a, this is emulating maggots in the bin with the fucking sh shit everywhere. Like, talk about sminky shorts, like, oh yeah, shit everywhere. Are you trying to
Ah,
get a
yeah.
piece of cheese? That's all you were trying to do. Are you trying to get a piece of cheese?
Ah, yeah. Busy cheese. That's hot. Busy cheese. Hey, before we go any
Yeah,
further, I think we learned something from the weekend. Let's jump in straight to the Ireland one. I don't know if you got to see the very beginning of the match. Did you see young Stevie? Young Stevie,
right.
did you see
I,
that?
I, I knew this would be a big talking point of this podcast. I
Because
think
versus what the carry on that went on at the World Cup, and they gave it to one young fella, can't be more than 6 or 7 years old. I'm sure he'd hairs raised on people that didn't have hairs. Jesus Christ.
people were bawling, crying,
Of course they were.
not even Irish people.
Yeah,
Oh
of
yeah,
course they were.
like
The young
it
fella
was
was
unbelievable.
gripping the fucking crest. I wanted to fucking storm something. I didn't know. I didn't even want to watch the rugby. I just wanted to storm someplace and take it back. I didn't know where or what, but it's like this kid is like, this is it. And even Andy Farrell, did you see him in the press conference and they asked him, Jesus Christ, you could see him passionately was like going, yeah, he was class, wasn't he? He was giving it socks chest out by,
It was unbelievable,
yeah. Watch,
unbelievable.
who's going to try and copy that now?
Um, feel like, do you remember England had those two little mascots that were like belting out the anthem?
Yeah,
A bit their rage now. They're like, we should have got the lads to sing it actually into the
yeah.
microphone.
You see, what they
Ah,
don't,
lads, some gamble to take as well after how shit the World Cup was.
it was, but you know what? He laid the track. You see, during he got picked during the late Toy show,
The toy show, yes. I did an
and
unbelievable job of the toy show.
that was the groundwork's in. Do you know what I mean? You can't just hit people in the face with something like that. Who's this young fella? He already was a mini celeb at that stage, and I think,
True.
do you know, and they kind of hit him with it, and it was in anticipation. It was built up to it like the Eurovision, like people knew it was coming. Like, and by the
Did
way,
they announce it on the toy show that day that he was going to do it?
I think so. I think I saw a video of Josh Fender talking to him on the iPad or whatever. I think they may have asked him there and then, but like that's a month and a half of a build up, like nearly, yeah, month and a half. Well, oh, just over a month of a build up. So like that, it was like the Eurovision, which I would suggest. Um, I don't know if you saw our Eurovision entry. It's shite. It's pure shite. It's beyond
It's such,
shite.
it's such a shame. I shared a tweet with you last week. Someone tweeted saying, before the start of the Six Nations, like, um, you know, it doesn't matter what happens this year, like as long as we like blood some new players and we just it doesn't matter if we win or lose and we just put in some good performances and we build on something. That's all I want. And then they were like, by halftime, I was saying, we're going to win the Grand Slam, the World Cup, and the Eurovision.
Me, absolutely me.
I was
Just,
like, fuck, that is
yeah.
what I was thinking. And like, I love the Eurovision. I don't know how much we've talked about this before now,
I,
but I love the Eurovision.
I'm with you. I'm with you, but we have no hope in Jesus. It's not good. It's trying to be very abstract, and the entry they picked a non-binary person or somebody who identifies as non-binary who speaks and sings with an American accent for some fucking reason.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and they have full face of white makeup, and you go, okay, this is going to be cool. This is going to be some Celtic thing that because there's a whole kind of mythical vibe around the way they're singing,
Yes.
presented, and then start singing and kind of talking through the entire thing. I'm like, oh no, oh no, there's a recipe. There's a recipe to a song that's going to do well in Eurovision. It builds up, and then there's a recipe to it. And this is just so disjointed, and it's trying hard to go extremely liberal for the sake of it. It's like, yeah, lads,
Oh,
just
yeah.
stick in. I
I,
get it. I get the liberal thing. Cool. But at least sing. Get Stevie in there.
yeah.
Throw Stevie in there. Um, but it's yeah, we're not going to do well, unfortunately. But to
Yeah.
bring it back to rugby and to things that are being promoted and things, have you seen the Russell Crowe ad for rugby league?
No, I haven't.
Oh my
Sorry, you
jeez!
sent me that note and I didn't look it up. Go on, tell us.
So you know the way Russell Crowe has a class voice, right? He's obviously an
Oh, yeah.
actor. He can deliver really well. Well,
Mm.
like I know rugby league is a bit simpler, but the way they have explained it for Americans is not dumb dumb or anything, but it's like it's fucking class. It takes it over maybe the 8 points that make rugby league, and it's showing these incredible hits, these incredible tackles, these incredible offloads. It's just, and he's describing it very passionately through the whole thing. You're like, oh Jesus, now I want to fucking start playing, watching rugby league. Are you joking me? It was a brilliantly crafty way of doing it, rather than hoping people. It's almost, and this is a crowbar in. It's almost how a watered down version of our How to Rugby, but it's an excellent promo for introduce because there's no American, and it was right for the Super Bowl as well, right in time for the Super Bowl.
Mm.
So everybody's all jacked up on NFL or whatever, and this is just almost the same thing. It's called NRL. What could that be? And of course, one of the owners of one of the teams, i.e., Mark, or fucking Spartacus. He wasn't Spartacus. Who was he? He was Gladiator himself. Tell you,
Maximus.
doesn't he own? He owns the Rabbitohs, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he owns the Rabbitohs, or he's one of the owners of the
Who?
Rabbitohs.
Aurelius Maximus.
Maximus Aurelius, how's your fatherus? He
Sorry,
he,
this is Aurelius, yeah.
he owns the Rabbitohs. Um, the Sydney Rabbitohs. He
Jesus, he's
does.
still going. Fair play to him.
He's swelled out like a bullfrog. He hasn't even tried to keep, the way actors try to keep themselves like looking like they
Sorry,
did.
are you actually talking about Russell Crowe?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were just saying that the owner of Rabbitohs was was
After Schwellen.
some 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 Greek god.
Yeah, but sure, that's what Russell Crowe is the owner of the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, okay, that actually rings a bell now. Um, Jesus, sorry, talking to Gladiator. I actually watched it in French here the other day. Um,
That's such a Northy thing to do, isn't it? It's like I'm so good at French now, I can start watching movies that I already know.
no, I'm still struggling a lot with French because now I've started teaching English. My French has started
Well, it's a
to.
good way to do it because you know the movie well.
Well, this is it. I actually
Yeah.
found that I find it more helpful watching a movie that I've already seen.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have. I don't like dubbed movies, but they're actually dubbed quite well. So when I find a movie that I know, I'll actually make sure I watch it. But Russell Crowe and Gladiator, like what? What a role! I don't know. Is there a is there a cooler character that exists? Full stop.
No.
And how well it's played by him.
Well, he said
And even
he
the
put.
movie got an Oscar. Did he get an Oscar for that?
I don't think so. I don't think he did. I
Didn't
could.
he?
I don't think. I
Fucking
can't picture him
unbelievable.
getting an Oscar, but maybe he did.
I doubt it.
Answers on a postcard, people. Please tell us if we. Oh, Anna's gonna Google it now anyway.
Sorry,
Um,
go on.
But he puts a lot of it down to Ridley Scott, literally walking up and going, "Hey, this is exactly what I want you to do right now. Imagine there's a bird over there that you're looking at. Oh, Jesus, right. Okay." And then, but he said also
Really?
they weren't, it wasn't like, say, now you'd go onto a soundstage that'd be a giant green screen all around you. He had built an awful lot, like he had hundreds of extras.
Yeah.
And they were all in like the real deal uniforms. They spent all their
Unbelievable.
money. So, not to take away from, but he said you could get into the role fairly handy as Maximus, like, do you know? And then you've got class actors to work against. So you know what I mean? You're talking to Richard Harris, do you know, or Oliver Reed. Class.
You know that? Sorry, I feel like we spoke about this before because I was telling you about Oliver Reed.
What?
That Oliver Reed has is kind of some origins in Mallow, and while Gladiator was being filmed, he died, and that funeral was on in Mallow, and like Julia Roberts and Russell Crowe were all in the High B Hotel in Mallow.
No.
Yeah. Did I not tell you this? I was telling someone this.
No, you didn't tell me this at all.
Oh, yeah.
This is a tidbit for the podcast now.
No. Now we went in like and stood by the church, but we didn't see anyone.
Yeah, Oliver Reed had gone kind of mad in his old age. Well, he'd always been mad. Apparently, Mick Jagger said he phoned him and said, "I'm calling over." He was like, "Cool, bro. I'm coming on a chopper." And he went to fly over to his house, and Harris is on the roof in his dressing gown with a machine gun trying to shoot at him. He'd
Oliver
forgotten.
Reed or Richard
Oh,
Harris?
sorry, Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed.
Yeah.
Richard Harris had given up the drink and was living in the Ritz in the last few years of his life. But yeah,
Sorry, over to his house in Mallow.
no.
Wasn't he living in Mallow, no? What is Oliver Reed's connection to Mallow? I don't know. All I know is he's buried in Mallow. His funeral was in Mallow and they were all in Mallow.
Oh, oh, that's tremendous. That is absolutely tremendous. The fact that he be no, I don't think it was a Mallow. I think it was either America or the UK. He was.
Okay, fair enough.
So where did you
Wait,
where did you watch your rugby the weekend? I'll ask you where you so we can actually turn it back for the rugby fans. Where
oh,
did you
you
watch? Was it all over across the way?
I watched first half of France and Scotland in um at home with French commentary, and then I went out to watch the Espoir, the under 21s of La Rochelle play, and we watched the end of it on like it was crap anyway, shitty match, but we
Yeah.
watched the end of it on like someone's phone at the side of the pitch, and I was just like, what the hell? Like the last like the closing 10 minutes kind of were good or at least interesting, and like
And
the try.
tell me this, like did you're often in the pub or whatever when they do cut back to the in studio with the gang, do they at least seem a bit fucking animated? Because I'm getting to a point here now with Virgin Media where I have to go out and make 10 cups of tea to stay away from watching Matt Williams, Shane
Oh God.
Horgan, and fucking Rob Kearney talk to Joe Malloy. And they, honest to God, may as well be talking about the death of Oliver Reed. Like Stofferton, Jesus Christ. Like
Jesus.
you've this heavily, okay, I'm not put my Munster hat on, but it is heavily Leinster. Like you literally two Leinster players and a former Leinster coach and a Dublin fella talking to him. You're kind of going, Jesus Christ, okay. But at least, like, they're supposed to make this sport interesting. I don't know if you've ever watched Jonathan Davies' thing on S4C, or he's on BBC, I think, as well. Jonathan Davies has a TV show where
Yeah.
they talk rugby with like Nigel Owens and that. She's very knowledgeable. She's a oh God, what's her name? She's got a cool name. She's a
Maggie
Welsh.
Alfonsi? Oh no.
She's Welsh, big blonde hair, but she's great.
Laura Jones?
Could be Laura Jones now, yeah. And
Is she
they
journalist or is she a
she's a
player?
journalist. She's a journalist.
Oh yeah, that's Laura Jones, I'd say.
And but 'tis great crack. The live audiences there, they're having great crack. Rugby is attractive. You go, Jesus, this looks like something I want to watch. The studio is brightly lit. There's good colours. It's warm. Like this is just a midweek show. It's like the Against the Head that RTE have. But the fucking bleakness of and that Matt Williams every time he opens his fucking and he tries to put a twist on everything in the how he says people's names. So it's not good enough that he talks about Rob Kearney. He calls himself Rob Kearney. The whole world, his mother probably calls him Rob. He's sitting there going, "Oh my, you go Robbie Kearney," and you're like, Andy Farrell is Andy Farrell. Yeah, Farrell. And you're like, why are you just trying to put a turn on every fucking thing?
Oh no.
But it's the bleakest, unattractive fucking uh, coverage of a sport you've ever seen in your life. Like there's
Oh
no,
no, that's
oh,
terrible.
it's oh you should watch some of it on YouTube. It is bleak beyond fucking bleak. And,
I can't get any Virgin Media stuff here.
oh,
Like
can you?
everything
Oh,
is
of
blocked.
course, yeah. But
But it's a shame because like Joe, I really like Joe Malloy. Like he's obviously so knowledgeable, but he's droll and
yeah,
he's boring in nature, but his content could be good if he had people in the chairs opposite him that are a bit more
100%.
animated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. If you could tell by him, he'd be smart enough and cute enough to bounce off of whoever would be giving it to him. Like, and that's not to
Mm.
say, listen, you cut to any of the others and you put Donald Lenihan and Alan Quinlan in there. and she'll start crying again. Do you know, crying after winning. You'd be like, lads, why is rugby so bad? Why do you hate it so much? Why do you
Mm,
hate rugby? Like, there is I know, and I know there's we talked about this before, the browbeaten, don't be getting too big above your station, but there's and that's why the likes of Mac Hansen is just such a breath of fresh air. But it took a fella from another country to be such a breath of fresh air. You're like, fucking Christ,
yeah.
at least try and sell this sport to somebody, like try
But
and sell it to somebody.
I feel like there's an awful pressure on pundits to be like showing extreme knowledge, or else they're going to be like ridiculed or something. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
I
feel a
get
little bit like that. I did a thing for Off the Ball on Saturday, and I'm kind of all my notes prepared, and then I felt like I just got into this rhythm of like doing it the same way as everyone else.
yeah, yeah.
And I was frustrated with it afterwards. I was like, "Fuck's sake!" I was like,
Well,
"There's
you've a
so much
lot.
more I could have said," but because that's the kind of that's just
That's the
how
cadence. Yeah, that's you got to.
yeah, that's how it goes. You just get into this rhythm of like blah 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 this, blah 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 that. This is that, then especially for something like, Off the Ball, where it's real nerds who listen to it anyway.
Yeah,
Um, and it's can think Off the Ball do know their audience, so I get that. Like, and I enjoyed it anyway. But I was a bit frustrated with like, oh god, I get into like the same rhythm of just sounding the same as everyone else, and I don't sound the same as everyone else
no, you
generally.
have creativity in you. You know what I mean? You do, so it is a pity you get browbeaten into that scenario. And maybe I'm wrong on them. Maybe they're right gas bastards off air, but it's like cut loose.
But if
Just
that's the case, then they should be the same on air. I don't know. Like, I agree with you. I think there needs to be a break in this. In kind of, yeah, Mac Hansen way. Like, he's not a pundit or a commentator, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen some people try to do it before, and they've been kind of ridiculed. And
yeah,
especially a woman, you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
try to do
yeah.
it a new way as a woman, because you will be ridiculed. Number one, you'll be ridiculed anyway. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. So it, I don't know who it's gonna really take to
Good-
be like, we're gonna do it differently, because all of the men are under the pressure to do it, to show that they're like a nose, like
Yeah.
that knows everything. So don't know
Would
who
there
it will
be
take to
would there
break
be
the mold.
any room for at least putting a bit of passion in? Do you know what I mean? Like I could take those three fellas for a weekend course in delivery on delivery, and I swear to
So write to
God,
them and tell them.
I should actually. I should. Because there's a delivery to things where you can lay so much more passion behind the thing, and you can be saying the exact same thing, just your cadence and your timing and your vowels have to be a small bit different. But
Mm.
it was hard to watch. I watched it for a second going, oh, maybe they show some. Oh, I can't even watch the clips back, lads. I want to watch these clips back, but I can't. Um, it was, yeah,
Speaking
Jesus,
speaking of Mac Hansen,
I know. Oh,
how hilarious. What a little legend. Like, he just
how could,
continues to. Why
but
was he sitting up in the rafters as well, I wonder?
I suppose apparently like it's tough enough even to get tickets when you're even a player, like you don't get a whole raft of them, like because as
Jesus, yeah.
anybody might have, Rory O'Connor was actually I tweeted him, he didn't reply back because I'm guessing he didn't see it or whatever, but he knew exactly what I was talking about. He was asking why in Christ's name was there no atmosphere at all left in the Aviva with 30 minutes to go. Like, yes, it was a home and hosed fucking game, but at the same time, like, where was the atmosphere? And I gave him, I didn't say take a picture because I'm not that kind of guy, but there was a shot of the Italian coaches in the box. You could see over their heads through the glass into the bar, where there's bars all the way around the Aviva, into the bar, rammed during the game, just rammed, and people having the time of their life chatting with their back. And these are people that we probably got tickets through. They got tickets through.
No,
Oh
don't say
yeah,
that.
rammed,
Fuck's sake.
rammed with fucking the guys and the girls are just having a major one. They were on the Lasharoo, and you're like, there shouldn't be a fucking
Do you think that's why the atmosphere is
oh
so
one
poor?
hundred percent. The
Mm.
Aviva is very tough to get a vibe going unless there's something seriously fucking happening under the pump because so many of these tickets are being sold to are being given to corporate. I know.
Mm,
I worked with these people. I've done hundreds of corporates. I know they are getting the tick and the major three-lettered acronyms that you can think of that are have their hand and foot and ear in rugby get these tickets and they get given to people that couldn't give. Yeah, sure, they went to the old Rock or they went to the Clongays or whatever, but they've no more fucking interest in what's going on out there. Like, I
mm,
can tell you now, there was most likely nobody from fucking Kilfeacle or Mallow or fucking or Clan William up at that fucking game at the weekend. And if they were, they sure shit
mm,
weren't in the bar.
yeah.
It was exactly what it answered his question, and a bunch of people did like it, all right, because they're like, yeah, it's true. That's why.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's disappointing because I was loving the match. I and
Oh,
I was just listening to the. Sorry to go back to your French commentary thing there a minute ago. The French commentary is funny because they've loads of publicité. What's it called? Loads of
advertising.
really long ad break, and then a kind of a short. They don't go into it like the Irish coaches do because
Oh,
they get more money for the ads. So they're all about the money in
do you know
France,
what?
So
I'd let him off. I'd let Virgin off. They wanted to sell the ads.
it's yeah, maybe. But it's funny because they have with the French commentary, they have two lads that are like in the top of the stand almost. This is like in every what's it called, like match that they have in telly. And they're really close to the thing like this, and the pitch is in behind them, then they're looking down and the two of them are really close together. So that's kind of really intense. They're like, yeah, it's a great game, da, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. And like, so that I feel like that's exciting. But they do have other little punditry bits as well. Like they had a doctor on last week that was like explaining about the HIA or
Oh,
something like that.
brilliant. See, that's good stuff.
So
Like, that's good
yeah,
content.
yes, and she's not always there. So they obviously have kind of people there who were like, "Oh, could you come on if something interesting happens that you could explain?" So maybe like a referee or a doctor or something like that. I feel like because I hadn't seen her before, but and she wouldn't always have something to say, I suppose. But
See,
yeah.
this is what I talked about before. I actually I don't know, was it a message or a tweet to how to make scrums more interesting? Because they were giving out that scrums are killing the game at as they do at every wet game, they'll be describing it. And
Mm,
I think Bernard Jackman was defending it. I think I tweeted him, but um basically I'd said, but like you love scrummaging and know so much about it. Imagine him and Mike Ross just told to go, lads, go wild. Describe it in that moment. Cut to ye back in your own little box, and call it scrum box, and you're
mm,
describing exactly what's actually going on. And we get the spider cam in over, and I swear to God, I would
mm,
allow a ball boy to run on with a camera on a selfie stick and shove it on in under between the two front rows to look up at their faces to see what's going on from that side too, because there's so much going on in rugby that, and they're leaving meat on the bone everywhere. It's like there's so much class stuff going on, the player mics and stuff like that. They should fucking mic up the whole thing, like let everybody
mm.
know every bit of it. So
Yeah,
there's so much going on.
yeah.
Listen, we haven't talked one bit about the Shaggin Rugby whatsoever over the weekend. So you caught a bit of the first half of the Scotland.
Yeah, I saw what happened and all the drama with it. Like, I'm actually gutted. I had to pretend I was shouting for the French because, to be fair, I kind of I feel for the French. I'm glad for them that they got a win, but at the same time, I'm gutted that it's not going to be a Grand Slam showdown between Ireland and Scotland
I
on
know.
Paddy's weekend. I
Yeah,
fucking was raging.
I mean,
Especially when it was like it was a try. It was just
Usher
so
to the try.
much more controversially not a try than it was a try.
It
Do you
was,
know?
I mean, the only thing, like you'd say, okay, the first couple of shots from the in goal area, I was like, okay, the camera's so low to the fucking ground, it's nearly rubbing the blades of grass. Okay, then it shows it from the other side. It's like, well, where else could the ball have gone? But hit the
Mm,
fucking ground and the line. Your man's questioning was weird that he didn't go. Is there any reason why I can't? Because
yeah,
I'm standing
yeah,
right fucking there looking at it. Okay, it
yeah.
disappeared for a second, but is there any that it didn't disappear into another fucking dimension? It can
Mm,
only have rubbed off the fucking line.
mm.
I I, I think it was a rough call on him. Um,
Yeah, fuck 'em.
so I mean, but at the same time, like you'd often hear this. You'd hear this in boxing and MMA. It was like, well, why would you ever leave it to the judges if you're cribbing now? Because fighters that say, "Oh, I had more points on that. I should have won." Like, why'd you let it get to the judges? You should have fucking knocked him out way earlier. And so
Yeah,
should
yeah, yeah.
Scotland.
But that's always the way with anything, but also when games are that close, like games are becoming so close. Like
Has
so many
Ireland fucking
games.
rinsed? I do
What?
know, I know what you're saying, but Ireland absolutely rinsed Italy at the weekend. But you're right, they are getting closer. No,
Yeah,
you're right,
yeah.
but closer sometimes for the wrong reasons. Like
Mm,
Scotland had fine lumps of shit in their game too last weekend. Some of their fucking tackling, like Ramos, just just stood there and just wiggled a little bit, and three
mm,
fellas magically fell off him. He would have
mm,
been fucking cut in half if that was Ireland. Imagine
mm,
Caelan Dars licking his lips if Thomas Ramos was fucking stalled for even a split second. He would have come
yeah,
in and put him into another fucking realm. Like, it's unforgivable, some of the defensive errors. Like,
mm,
for the France's second try, a chip over the top. Sure, for fuck's sake, where was the fullback? Where was the defense? Like, a big white half an acre of grass behind, and your man just chipped it through, and they're like, what? He had no right to get there. Yeah, he had every right because there was fucking nobody even dreaming of looking in the backfield. That's the
mm.
defense coach. They don't have the killer edge that. Do you know what? In one way, you're right. It would have been great to have this Grand Slam showdown. They've no right to be even coming close to fucking Ireland or even
No, but I,
lacing
I
up
say that. I
their
say that
gloves.
with the Scots. I say that with the Scots turning up to Dublin, being like, "Whoa, it's on, it's on, it's on," and then Ireland just fucking steamrolling them. Do you
Making
know?
dust of them. But their lack of cutting edge to finish out a fucking game. Like they carry on last week. They
I
carry on
know.
again this week. Like, it's all
What
gas.
are they at? Like,
Is
what are they at? I really thought, but I actually think this every year about Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay, they're actually going to get their shit together now. There's obviously some kind of mental block there with being Scottish and being just a
Mm.
bridesmaid that they just can't.
They're the
They
Mayo. They're the
can't.
Mayo of international
Mm,
rugby. They almost
mm,
get to the dance, like, but it's it it infuriates me because they have so many good players. They have such impassioned. They've got some of the best history, one of the best fucking anthems. They got one of the best players, one of the most entertaining players at 10. But an awful lot of it comes, like, I mean, Townsend can fucking blame the players and all the rest of it. I'm blaming Townsend. If you can't get their heads in the fucking game for 80 minutes, these are professional men. If you can't get their heads in the game for 80 minutes for their country, then what's going on?
but it's your job. Like, was he actually? I didn't see any of his post match stuff. Was he blaming the
Oh,
players?
he was blaming, he wasn't a bit happy with how it was fucking refereed or how it was done in the end. It's like, why are you talking about that? What the fuck are you talking about that for? Why'd you leave it to there to fucking win the
Yeah.
match? Like, you
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
fucking penalties did they give away? They give away
Mm,
about 14 fucking penalties or something in the second half. Something ludicrous anyway. They give away a rake of them. Same against Wales. They give away 14 penalties in the second half. You're like, what the
yeah.
Jesus Christ are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, tighten
Um.
the ship. Like, you have class players. You've Finn Russell, who's on £1 million fucking a year. Do you know what I mean? Playing for fucking Bath. Like, what is going on? Like, that she can't, if you can't pull all them together. But, I mean, the argument that, oh, well, we're just Scotland. We're just Scotland. Well, Ireland were like that too, and they got a really good fucking coach in Joe
Mm.
Schmidt, and he wiped that fucking out. Now, the wheels came off the wagon a small bit towards the end. But they got another class coach who trained under him. Like,
But
I
in Scotland, they don't have the same kind of schools boy rugby that exists in other countries, as far as I'm aware. In terms of, well, there wouldn't be enough for like a kind of a competitive league. But I know that there's a lot of players in Scotland that make so much money in their domestic league that they won't play in a Premiership club because they're making too much money playing for the Scottish Domestic League, which is like funded through, do you know, all the oil companies.
all
Someone told me
right.
this. Someone told me this
Really?
years ago now. I don't know how accurate it is, but there's a lot of
Whoa.
players that could be good enough to play for Scotland that say, nah, fuck it.
Are you telling me like they're playing for what, like Aberdeen?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't know how true that is still, but it was definitely
It,
true at the time. I was chatting to someone at Kinsale 7 years ago who was playing there along with his brother and stuff, and he wasn't
whoa,
Scottish.
that's
Um,
huge. That's
he was saying
huge.
about, yeah.
Very, very
You'd
interesting.
never hear about that now, but
Jesus,
it's
you
obviously
wouldn't.
very tight money control. So I'll look into that a bit more now, see if I can chat to any Scottish people and see if it's still the case.
I also want to clarify. I'm not ragging on fucking Scotland because for being fuck you, I'm ragging on because I would really like you to be good. If we've any Scottish people listening, going, the fuck, I'd really like you to get your shit together because we need a good fight.
I know, but no one knows that more than the Scottish
I
fans,
know,
like I
I know,
reckon, you know.
I know, and I
It's
see you're seeing kids fucking crying and everything in the stadium. You're like, oh Jesus Christ
no.
Almighty! Like,
And they have the best anthem.
oh, they have the best anthem.
Again, I just was fucking blasting the telly when like, you're one up in the fucking thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, unreal. I
unreal.
love it. But sorry, I need to point, and this was the same in Twickenham apparently. I was watching your one the Flower of Scotland.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I have to go to Murrayfield. It's just I have to go next year. It's been on my bucket list for so long. I would
Oh,
just
it's
love it. I just
incredible.
have to go.
Once as a teenager, I was there. It was Jesus.
Unreal. I never been to a match there, but the fucking music that was on every break
Oh,
in play was
I have a
like,
note. I actually made a note of this. I made a note.
well, now,
It was
because
disgusting during the
apparently
England
it
match
was
as well. It was just oh
apparently, yeah, apparently it was the same shit at the England game. And sorry, but I feel like similar stuff was going on at the Ireland game as well.
it was
But
it wasn't as gross for whatever reason. It didn't seem to just blast
but I was
like
like, after having this little pep talk with myself, like, Anna, you gotta go to Murrayfield next year. I was like sitting there, I was doing a jigsaw while I was watching the game, and I was like, fuck's sake. I was like, I don't want to go sit there. I need, you want the songs to take off and you want singing. Like, the reason the singing is so shit is because the DJs keep putting on terrible music in the stoppages and play.
you see.
Go
This
on,
comes
what note did you write?
this. I know it was exactly that. It was after it didn't strike me so much during the Scottish match, but it did during the English match. But it's unfortunately this is the world we're in right now where people's attention spans. You have to fill it with shit. So people this is a thing across all media. Anna. Like television is devolving into utter fucking tripe. Like there's and you can blame reality TV and all these, but it's just throwing stuff at you, and you must, and heaven forbid you're allowed to have your own fucking thoughts between, or at least talk to somebody beside you, or they're frightened. I don't know, are they frightened people are going to run to the bar or something, but they just feel they got to pump fucking like every time there was a break in fucking play or a try had been scored during the English match, they had like a fucking 25-year-old. Of yeah, vampire. It's just what the fuck? Every fucking time? Are you joking?
No.
What? It was just a dose of shit. Like, and that's not being an old fuddy duddy or whatever. It was an old ass fucking song they kept playing. It was shit, and like it just made for a shit vibe. It was like,
It was the same song they were playing in Twickenham over and over again.
yeah, every like
Why
three.
didn't I write this down? I should have written down the songs that came on. I'll do it now the next weekend, but I was writing down the song. I was listening to the songs that came on, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, they've
I
been
just
doing it.
was like,
They have been doing it for years, but it just seemed gross this weekend for whatever fucking reason. Unless they went up a
yeah.
couple of fucking decibels or something. It was just,
I
oh
also wonder, do Scottish people ever get sick of the Proclaimers?
yeah, because I could see us getting sick of zombie. I'd say, and
Hmm.
that's no fucking joke. Like,
We've bad memories connected with us as well now. Well, at least I do.
well, the thing is, like, you
But
know,
at
when
least
you,
I do. As if it was just me, but personally, I feel like
but
it's
it's like anything, they overplay the, and then it loses all. It's like boy calling wolf or whatever. It loses all relevance when we actually need it.
yeah,
In the fucking in the heat of battle, like, and you're like, what the fuck are you playing zombie for when somebody's fucking is taking a penalty against fucking Italy halfway through the second half? Like,
no,
you
no,
know,
no.
um, so moving on, England, Wales, Scotland, France, bag of shit of a game. There's just no two ways about it. And just to clarify, yeah, it's a bag of shit. That fucking stopping and standing shit that they calling the DuPont rule. It's like, God, this if
Oh
that's
yeah, the DuPont rule.
if that's the shit you have to do to win a match, then you've no pride in yourself. Like, where are you at in your craft if that's the kind of shit you're doing?
Yeah.
You need to be able to run down a fucking team so that you can actually fucking take pride in the win afterwards if you do win it. But this, um,
Do you see George Ford's kick getting
yeah,
picked up?
like I could argue his point. He came to a stop for like 2 seconds and then took his step off to the side, which the ref kind of, even the players kind of ran out and one ran past the ball, kind of going, "Can we? Can we?"
Yeah, but yeah, you always would. I did that before in a game.
Yeah, yeah.
Ran up to what's her face, but she had actually just walked forward to like reposition the ball, but I thought she had stopped,
Mm,
and like because it was what's her name, Skaz. They were like, "Oh no, no, no," and I was like, "Fuck's sake!" But like George Ford's like, "Oh, now we can see that player kickers are going to be affected." It's like this has been happening like once a season for the last
mm.
20 years. Like
I'll never forget
you'll
that
be fine.
one of the greatest charge downs of a conversion was
Peter Stringer,
Peter Stringer against O'Connor, wasn't it?
barbarian.
Oh, I just took it, but no apology. I
But
love the
I
yeah,
regret not doing it that way when did my run up, and I should have just picked up the ball and ran away
yeah.
because the referee would have been like, "Boo, okay." Whereas where I stopped and questioned it, he could see that because I questioned it, I obviously was doubtful about the decision I'd made. I
Yeah,
literally, I remember at the time thinking I should have done a fucking Peter Stringer on it, ran up, picked up the ball, and ran away, and
but
been so sure of it that the referee would have agreed with me.
that you know what? You would have gaslit the referee into the
Absolutely. But I do this all the time in like when I play like touch or even just in rugby. Do you know if you're doubtful? And the one thing I even thought from the Scotland players, sorry, from the yes, the Scotland players' reaction to the try that was scored at
yes,
the end. If they had, and I thought at that time, if like only one person put their hand in the air,
yeah,
if they
yeah,
literally had a fucking 99 call that was like, "Celebrate the fucking try and run away," you will affect the TMO's decision.
a
I
hundred percent, a hundred
100%.
percent.
There
There was
that needs to be a thing. I used to do this in touch rugby all the time, like, do not look at the ref when
never.
you think
You're a
you've
hundred
scored.
percent right,
You
and
celebrate and you run away, and you will affect their decision. I was telling you, if Scotland did that, they would have fucking got the try.
I genuinely.
I've
That's a
no doubt in my head about that.
This isn't just a hot take, people. This is actually has been practiced. But I swear to God, I remember doing that when I was fucking hell, damn near 30 years ago. I remember being told to do that. Like, fucking give it socks, lads. Even, and I remember we were definitely a good meter short one time against Waterpark. And
Meet your
I
short.
swear to God, okay, maybe it wasn't quite, but we were definitely the try was short. And the ref just gave it, and they were fucking fuming. Go, what? I gave it. That's it now. And we were all like, because we knew we definitely didn't score it, but we gave it
Mm.
fucking socks regardless.
Yes.
Same like, even if they're blowing the whistle and you're still running, we were always told, fucking running over that line and touch it down because there'll be a 1 in 1,000 times where the ref can't find his fucking whistle or something or doesn't
Yeah,
spot an infringement. Don't ever look
but you're
back and
right.
don't look
Yeah,
apologetic at the ref like.
gaslighting them. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
England, Wales, uh, 2 yellow cards for England. Whatever. Like
Pants.
absolute fucking muck again. Like, I mean, yes, it's like it's easy to say hangover. Now I will say they have a shining light in your man Freddie Stewart. He is some operator.
Mm.
He is some operator. In all fairness, like, um, he
So many of those players play so well in the Premiership.
yeah, of course, but
They're
it doesn't seem to
unbelievable.
translate. But should have just been rammed a Leicester 20 years ago style of rugby for whatever from Borthwick. It doesn't tie in with the kind of rugby that they should be playing with the.
I can't wait to play them actually because after all their fucking success and everything at the World Cup, I just love to absolutely steamroll them.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have a couple of standout players like Ben Earl. He looks like the business, but again, toe to toe against anybody and this is again not getting cocky, but you can't fucking see it. Like it was, uh, like either team should have actually blown the other one away, but it was just kind of they mitigated each other's shitness.
Mm.
It was just for
No.
long, turgid parts of the game. Like
Mm.
almost all the scoring was done in the 37th minute, and then you're just arsing. They were just fucking arsing around then for the remainder of the match.
Yeah.
Like it
It's
was
so shit for fans and stuff.
it's hard to watch on their behalf. I mean, Wales have a very very exciting fella in your man Rio Dyer. My Jesus Christ, is he fast? Fuck,
Mm.
is he fast?
Yeah.
But if that's all you'll be going on for, um, Ireland 36-0, and Italy didn't look shite. I mean, they weren't great, but they didn't look pure. They didn't look 36-0 of the past.
No.
They'd
It
always
was
bag an old try or whatever, wouldn't they? They'd always get one in, like
always
even
get
with the.
something, yeah.
But
And
just
I was kind of egging Capuzzo on. Wanted him to get a good stretch his legs a little bit. And their back three in general, but no. But it was the same as France week before. Ireland just didn't let them.
no, I loved it. There was
Mm.
absolutely
I loved it as well.
relentless. Rel
I loved it as well.
hey,
And fair play to James Lowe because I thought he was going to get player of the match the week before. And like no shade to McCarthy or anything, I just thought James Lowe was outstanding against
mm,
France. So I'm delighted for him that he got player of the week this weekend.
did you see? In fairness to Capuzzo, them and Craig Casey, but because they make little fellas tough in rugby. Craig Casey
Mm.
got milled and played on, but did you see Capuzzo getting fucking nearly? My
No,
God, he
by
got
who?
Jack Conan of all people, like the size Jack Conan has gotten to this season. He's massive. They can't even get polo
Yeah.
shirts to fit it. He's gone huge. I guess that's what he's figuring is that if his point of difference now to Caelan Doris so whoever else is that he's a fucking monster. But I
Mm.
mean, I think Craig Casey had him tackled. I could be wrong. Letters on a postcard. Um, but he was stalled, poor Al Capuzzo. Fuck me. He utters it. It would send you to the A&E, like. But Capuzzo shook it off by it. He was back up.
Yeah. He's
Like,
still
just,
not filling his jersey. His jersey is still hanging
yeah,
off him.
hanging off him. Hanging off him.
And that's obviously the smallest size.
It's the under 18s.
Mhm.
He's just,
Yep.
but I'm telling you, he's made of tough stuff, whatever he is. He got
Yeah.
absolutely melted by Jack Conan. And
Clatter of the week.
Oh, it was I would have loved to be close to hear it. Do you know what I mean? To hear the
Oh
actual
yeah.
I mean not that
Oh
bullshit that Netflix seem to put on it sounds like somebody crunching fucking lettuce every time every time somebody gets hit with the tackle. But
yeah.
it was an absolute it was an ender gamer and he didn't but yeah, cool. Oh yeah, just you'd mentioned Mac Hansen. If nobody saw this, Mac Hansen was up in the fucking stands with the schoolboys on an €18 ticket, wearing a jersey I can only describe. He must have found it in Pennies or Aldi. It's no official jersey that I've ever seen. The last time an official jersey looked like that, um, Ollie Campbell was kicking for Ireland. Do you know it was?
But I got one of those. They're all the rage now. I got one from Samurai.
Or they are, of course, yeah, the retro
An
ones.
old like one with the collar.
Yeah,
And
they're actually way nicer to
vintage.
wear than an actual playing jersey. But he got Sexton 69 written. No need at all in that kind of carry on. But just brilliant, brilliant.
Hilarious.
Just how
I
class was.
wonder was it the postcode from Leon? Was I telling you that story last week?
What was it
Hang
again?
on. Gee, I
Did you?
can't keep track of the story. I need to write down all the stories that I tell you and the ones I
We're
don't.
like somebody that two of us are like two people who are in our old age or declining fucking mental fucking ability now at this stage. And
In the
did I tell you
promotional form.
back in?
No, but I was at that women's Champions League game in Leon,
Yes, you did. You did.
and yeah, and there was an owl fella sat in front of us, and he had supporter 69 on his jersey,
No,
and he
you
was
didn't
sat
tell
in.
me that. The dirty old. What?
Oh, oh, okay. But no, well, yeah, the dirty old bollocks is right. But he was sat in his own, like, I was like, oh, like, fair play to him. Why the fuck has he got 69? I was like, what the fuck is that about? I was like, I wanted to be so happy that he was there. And then I saw supporter six and I was like, why? What the fuck? Like, why did that? And then I was saying it to someone next to me. They were like, Anna, that's the postcode for Leon.
What's it?
Yeah. So that's like 69 is the number for Leon. So I was like, "Oh, that makes me so happy that he was genuinely there, like fucking like sitting on his own, supporting the game, supporting the women's
And then he
soccer,
turns
like."
around the front, says, "Nice tits."
Yeah,
Something
exactly. On the
gross
front.
on the front. National Booby Inspector.
So maybe Mac Hansen, maybe it was the postcode for Leon on the jersey.
Do you know
Sexton
what? To be like something that he would, yeah, but it
Yeah.
like it was so it was such a shit joke in that he was wearing a retro old jersey. Sexton is long gone, and just 69 is so childish, but all put together, put on Mac Hansen was
I
brilliant.
loved
Was it
it.
was
I was
like there's certain characters you need to have built a certain character before you can sell a certain joke, and that's a shit joke, but brilliantly sold by a great character like.
yeah,
Like
agreed.
Sexton isn't going to appreciate that at all. In fact, it might infuriate him a small bit. Like the only way he'd top that is when Peter O'Mahony retires and he does something similar. Like that's the only way. Do you know?
He'll definitely get a tattoo of like Peter Romani, like lawn mowing his pubes.
I swear to God, we need to clip this and send it to Mac Hansen because he will do it. He will do,
Flip what?
he will do it. He'll get that fucking tattoo.
Fucking will.
Yeah,
She already has a
Wouldn't be
tattoo
able.
of the head coach's face on his arse.
Yeah, but O'Mahony couldn't handle that. No, I don't think he'd be able.
Yeah,
Um,
but sure.
closing
Yeah.
statement. God, Jack Crowley looks good, doesn't he? You'd watch
Yeah.
him like. I mean, there were Matt
Apart
Williams.
from the kicking, but I actually don't mind. It's like doesn't matter. Like
That'll come
I don't
around.
care.
That like that was the thing that was withering my Folix about Matt Williams. He was give like he cannot give anything to a Munster player. He just kills him. It's like no, 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 I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Now he wouldn't call him. Ironically, he wouldn't give him a
A
jovial
nickname.
A Williamsite style. He wasn't calling him Jackie Crowley, but he was giving it lows like. It's as simple as this. Ja, if you're not at 84%, you ain't winning matches. Here, he wasn't at 85% there, and they just fucking won the match, you absolute fucking donkey. I get
Yeah.
what you I get what you're saying. Sure, you need to have your percentages up around 85% realistically. But he was shit off the tee. And yet still played a fucking class match. And they still won 36 fucking nil. So
But he can kick the ones that wide. He can kick the difficult ones, no bother.
all it is
Literally, he was lined up and I was like, he'll kick this now, not a
yeah,
bother.
a temperament thing for a lad of 24. That's all it is. A temperament, like that'll come around too. Ron O'Gara and Sexton had their mirrors too, but he can do that. He can do some cool shit when he's passing. He can do some cool shit that no look past the fucking Hugo.
Man.
And the way he was looking, like
Popping
blatantly,
behind.
oh,
Do you know what is very different? Very, very different to how Sexton or O'Gara played.
I love that. I
Like,
love it.
I love it as well.
That
I
he's
fucking it's
he is his
brilliant.
own
As
man.
long
Yeah.
as the only thing that kind of scares me a little bit is now it's a slightly different situation, but he reminds me of Marcus Smith when I saw Marcus Smith playing first for Harlequins as a 10, doing all these things. I was like, holy
Mm,
shit, I cannot believe how young this guy is. And then Marcus Smith's kind of forced to lose it. As long as like Crowley is like nurtured in like and the team is kind of built around him and he keeps his head in line and he's managed well. That's what he needs and not some like kind of okay, let's change this up or let's like
well,
you've got to change the way we want to play or you know.
I think the litmus test for that is Mac Hansen. They've just let
Mm.
him do. You know what I mean? If anybody was ever coming down your hard for being you and you were still being successful, you just turn around and go, "Oi, who's the mad cunt over on the fucking the left wing? Oh, or the right wing? Oh yeah, right enough. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you do you because we're letting him do whatever he wants and he's pulling off cool stuff. So
But it's
let's
like it's I always think of did you watch The Last Dance? Oh no, you said you didn't really like it.
I faded out because it got
Very
I
basketball-y.
I'm not a big basketball fan. I could appreciate it for what it was, but also, and this is kind of counterintuitive to what I was saying about bigging up rugby and all the rest of it. My God, them lads, the American sports players can fucking talk themselves up. Oh my God. It's like, jeez, all right, we get it. You were class back in the day. We get, yeah, okay, we get it. But I should have stuck with it really. In the same way, I've completely only made it halfway through that Netflix fucking thing, and I'm like, no,
Mm.
no.
Oh yeah.
I-
Well, I I adored The Last Dance. I've watched it twice through now. I'll actually, and I'm going to watch it a third time. I bought
Okay,
your
I have
man's
to watch it
book.
then. So,
I bought your man's book, like the coach. I just it's the coach more than anything. I'm just absolutely fascinated with, and like his theories and the way he goes about things and like the things he's interested in. I love it so much. But like the one thing that I always just found so interesting was like Rodman, Dennis Rodman,
that mad bastard, yeah.
mad bastard, but an unbelievable player. So what do you do? Do you like so you know he needed a blowout. He needed to go down to Vegas.
Yeah.
No. And
Wearing
so
wedding dress and just get some new piercings. I get it. I get it.
yeah, well I loved this in the thing because the guy interviewing Michael Jordan was like, "Do you remember when Dennis went to Vegas?" And he's like, "Oh Jesus, the Vegas trip. Oh my God." But Dennis Rodman was like, "Look, I need a blowout." And the coach was like, Phil Jackson's like, "Okay, fine. You go down to Vegas. We need you back in 3 days, okay?" And like, doesn't let any of the other players go on holidays. And all the other players are like, "Why don't we get to go on holidays?" But he's like, "I need him at his best. We need him at his best. We're going to give him this time." And then he was supposed to come back after 3 days and he didn't come back. So Michael Jordan like flew down, like
Oh, I
went into the
remember this
nightclub,
bitch. Yeah.
picked him up by the scruff of the neck and brought him out back to training. And then he fucking trains and plays the house down. So what do you do? Do you get offended that someone needs their own way of doing things, and you just know that's not how I do it, so you manage it, or can you learn how to manage it like Phil Jackson did? Like I feel like that's kind of a Mac Hansen thing, or I'd see it with a lot of players, like a lot of
Well, I would
players
have.
who have personality, not in the same extent to the same extent as Dennis Rodman, but it is akin to that situation. Like, how do you manage it?
Well, I mean, I think it's a very, very confident person and also an intelligent person, but somebody's been around the game. And it really helps that Andy Farrell himself played at the
Hmm.
top of the pops. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He played there. He knows what it is. His son has played at the top of the pops, still does. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
he has a great understanding, and I'd say the respect that they have is like they'll step out of line as much as they think I will allow. I don't actually have to give them the rule book. They fucking know full well they're fully grown men. I mean, he's letting, by all accounts, like Schmidt was down to the where he was telling lads the kind of haircuts to nearly be getting. Whereas
Hmm.
you've mullets now popping up all over the place, like, and you know what I mean?
Yep.
John
No, but
Fo
that's it.
You've John Fogarty who great scrum coach, but he's crack number one, like it's
Mm,
crack is number one, and then we'll do some scrummaging afterwards, like. But
yeah,
apparently badly needed. Like and
yeah.
is actually seen as kind of an
Jesus.
essential part of training.
Oh, Jesus,
Is
of course it is. You wouldn't fucking believe. You would, but in general, like it's actually stupid how many coaches will not allow that to happen.
but
Like,
they're just not knowledgeable and they're not confident. If you met a like
yeah.
if you worked in a place when there's a class manager, it's not normally because they're a complete fucking flute, let everybody just piss in the bins and fucking set fire to the place. It's because they've got such good control that they're like, no, it's fine. They can control every aspect of it confidently, and
Yeah.
capable. Whereas they don't have to micromanage every moment because they put the right people in the right places. And you can just get that vibe. I'd say Farrell, thank fuck they signed him up for another stint, like, cause
Yeah.
he
And he'll do Lions as well, which will be
off
brilliant.
he will of course, and the Lions will
That'll
be
be the best Lions tour they'll ever have.
oh it'll be it'll be just they may as well wear green jerseys, I'd imagine, because they, they they won't need many of the other lads. But that's been flippant and rude. They will of course. Our it's everybody light a candle for Hugo Keenan, possibly. I would argue Ireland's most important player. Um,
Yep.
went off injured. Did you? I heard a stat. James Tracy gave a stat on News Talk actually yesterday or today.
No.
There's a world, there's a world standing of fitness. you know, measurement wise.
Mm,
There's a world across, and it's shared with everybody. So you can have your own team one, who's the fastest, who's the fittest on your team. But there's one that's universal around the world with all the international players.
mm.
Hugo Keenan is the fittest international rugby player in the world. That's it. Number two is Bowden Barrett. Isn't that unbelievable? Like just doesn't stop. Could play two games back to get back. Like just doesn't stop. Is the fit? Imagine being the fittest. I'm just the fittest international rugby player on the planet.
I'd say he doesn't give a fuck either. He's like, oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But you wouldn't want to give a fuck at that stage. That wouldn't want to be what you would be aiming for because
No,
you'd bore the piss out of yourself just trying to be the fittest. His fitness probably comes by way of obviously genetics, but just training class, just training at being class, and
yeah,
never doing a fucking thing wrong. That chip through.
unbelievable.
Oh, that quick
He's
tap, that quick tap that sent him off. Oh my God, you're like, this is why this guy is so fucking class. Jesus. Um, we've no rugby next week, Anna. Well, we're back to club stuff, but
oh yeah.
I think they have a couple of weeks off. They have a few days off before they're back in or whatever. But I mean, not to get cocky, but up next, who do we have next? England next, isn't it? In Twickenham.
Yep. Is that
Is it?
next?
No, Wales. Is it Wales? Jesus Christ, I'm scandalous. I should
I'll
have
have a
written
look.
this. I'm so cocky. I didn't even write it down. I was full sure in my head that I would
Sure,
be
it
right.
doesn't matter who's next. It is fucking Wales, because I'll be in London for it. Um,
Are you going to be in London first?
why didn't I go to London the following weekend now? Oh, we've a match, sure. Um, hang on. Do we have a match? Shit, I need to check that out.
N-
I'm going to Twickenham. Um, but yeah, I'm actually in London next week going to see Book of Mormon.
Oh, very good.
Oh, sorry,
Very
that's
good.
not next week. That's it's the week after. Can't wait. But yeah, and I'm playing in Dax this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is
I don't know if it's
who
cool or not.
who is Irish and associated with that club?
There's been a few people over
Was
to Dax, I think.
James Collin? Was he there?
Could be, yeah. Yeah. There's a few.
Cool. Wasn't there a hair wax for young fellas used to use called Dex before?
Dax, yeah. Yeah.
Dex. You could fucking put bricks together with the stuff.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Just crashed. Um. So yeah, we're a good weekend all round. The under 20s snatched a victory. I think they only
Fucking
won by a
jaws.
point or something, but they still got it, so they're still on track for their Grand Slam as well.
Yeah. And fucking a dog bow.
Oh, sorry, I knew I'd some. There's a man. There's a man
I'm
playing.
surprised you didn't bring it up first, yeah. Ah,
There's
lads.
there's a man playing against Spies. Jesus Christ. There's
Yeah.
two of them now. There's
Yeah.
two of Dogbows.
I didn't know there was the second one
Apparent,
until they
I'd heard it was on Live 95. I was driving and I was listening and they were talking about Edwin the Dogbow. Just said, but wait, you see what's coming next. Edwin Sean is ludicrous. How fit, fast, and strong he is. Like that poor Italian lad. Like somebody put, I think it was Three Red Kings. I think I can name it was Three Red Kings. There's some brilliant gifs, and it shows him
mm,
getting the ball, and as the poor Italian player almost dies trying to tackle him. I mean, he just didn't even. There was no momentum change. This lad
mm.
just bounced off him. But you know the rings from Sonic when Sonic would get hit and all the
Yeah.
all these
Oh, class. I didn't see that.
all these fucking rings come flying out of this young Italian lad. He's like, and it was, of
Fucking
course,
cool.
somebody else put one up, and it was like it froze in that moment, and the lad is being spun, like his body is spinning around. It's like, and the voiceover, and it was at that point I knew I'd fucked up.
He knew. Duh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, but it was so funny. I didn't know it was Edwin Adogbo's brother. And he wasn't on for like he only came on towards the end of the game and like just fucking stormed through. Next thing they're showing Edwin Adogbo in the crowd, and I hope that's his brother. And then after showing the other African Irish family in the
yeah. Called the Odogbos. It'd be gas from Cork if they weren't related at all. Do you know? But but yeah, I mean, I think he's only young. I think he's only 18. I'd heard now at the time when the radio he was only 18, so he's gotten probably possibly 2 years at under 20s. Jesus Christ. Out in the wing running like a winger. You're like, oh my
Unreal.
Lord. Unreal.
Yeah.
Things are looking up. Right. I'm gonna let you get no the music hasn't kicked in yet, so maybe let you get some shut eye. Did you get a new toilet, by the way? Or did he just leave you with a hole in the ground
No,
or what happened?
he fixed it. Sorry. When I said exploded, I didn't really mean like the ceramic exploded.
Oh, I was thinking like, okay, Napoleon blown apart, where it was just burst all over the place. Okay, this. Do you know what? You sold great drama the whole way through this, and I'm sorry for actually making it reality. So you had the right to lie and go, yeah, he'd install a new toilet. Damn, yeah,
I should have said, yeah.
yeah.
A teeny tiny toilet. Curse you, tiny toilet. That was me today. Name the film.
Put me out of my misery because that's gonna bend my brain.
Despicable Me.
Yes, because in my head I was
Curse
going,
you, tiny toilet.
yeah,
Great
because
quote.
from Despicable Me, for some reason, the only phrase that ever comes in, it's so fluffy. I love him. The unicorn.
Oh,
Yeah.
unicorn. I need to watch that again. Be a good one to watch in
We
French now.
we've yes, we've started all those kids movies, and you know what? I'm not one bit sorry. We watched the second Chicken Run the other night or the other morning. Outrageous, outrageously good. It's like
Chicken Run is so good. Oh, hang on, that's a new Chicken
a
Run.
new Chicken Run. It's a chicken factory, and it is outrageously like it is
I need to.
brilliant. It is brilliant.
What's that on?
Netflix.
Fuck, I need to watch that. Unreal. I love Chicken Run.
Yeah, no, and trust me, it's our whole for the longest time it was like, oh, the timeline is just changing to completely children's movies, but now I'm like, oh, I'm totally up for this. By the way, all of
This
these
is so
movies.
bad. On a closing note, I won't talk more, but like I played rugby with a girl who had like really, really dark eyebrows and people used to call her Chicken Run. Because you know the woman
Yeah,
Tweedy, I think her name is. We were calling her Tweedy, but people didn't get the reference, so everyone started calling her Chicken Run. She had really dark eyebrows. She knew, like, and she used to laugh.
Mr. Tweedy. Yeah,
Oh
those
yeah.
chickens.
Anyway,
Tremendous, right? We will be back next week to talk about we'll just talk about our week more than anything, and maybe the upcoming rugby. And if we have any we'll gather news for next week, and we'll try and stay away from toilet related issues. My gout will have worn off. I may have a twitch in my eye from the lack of sugar because I'm definitely giving up the sugar. I swear, I swear, I swear. Literally, I'm going to swear to God or whoever you are. I'm swearing live now to Anna and to the listeners. I'm off the sugar. Swear to God.
where to Andy Farrell?
Swear to Andy Farrell and his son Mackensen. Um, right. Ihoa.
Slán.
It's the Banana and Bears Rugby